Yeah. So there are many, many indicators for calculation of strengths, but unless and until you at a glance can immediately say that which house is Jupiter aspecting which by Rashi Drishti and Mercury, if the Lord of that particular house is aspecting that house or not, or a Lord which is friendly to that particular lord, or a planet in there is friendly to that particular lord of that sign, or and is aspecting by Rashi Drishti, that will also be very helpful. And then so those are the three core strengths which we did, and we'll come to that again, but that is absolutely fundamental. And at the end of it, we will take some charts after I do a little bit of like introducing the Aries. Today we'll do the Aries Rashi and what nakshatra it is in. So yeah, so that and the Badhak is super important. So basically you will have to then weave in three fundamental concepts here. Okay, when you look into a chart, you have to, of course, see the lagna, what Rashi it is, obviously, and what aspects there are, whether there are the two. Remember the crosses. I made you do the crosses thing where Mars or any of the malefics are aspecting by Graha Drishti. That is super important because you have to know where the pain is, where the problems areas are. So the double crosses, you have to see for every house where those double crosses or even triple crosses are landing in the chart. And so wherever that lands in the chart will give you, like, there is some karma which will come through an antardasha or a pratyantardasha. It will come guaranteed. Don't live in illusions like, oh, it was fine and all that. It wouldn't be fine. If you have three crosses or two or more crosses, guaranteed there will be some problem, no matter, even if it's like a very friendly lord, okay, or the best of friends, even then it will be a problem because there are three crosses. That particular house is being blighted by three malefics. So don't even think about, like, you'll get off easily. So that's one thing, but that's when you have to then look to the next step, is the strength. How strong is the Rashi, whether the lord of that. So you may have three crosses, but if the lord of that sign is aspecting by Rashi Drishti, then it is superb. Okay. It is really fantastic because that means that Lord will do everything in its power to bring out the problems of the Graha Drishtis. And typically it is said that Jupiter can fight three malefics. Okay. Four is like stretching it, but Jupiter is able to tackle up till four malefics. Okay. Venus can tackle about two. I think if it is really, it's at great dignity, it is very, very good, then maybe three, but not really. That's pushing it. And Mercury can manage one malefic aspect on it, Okay.
How about the moon? How about the
The,
moon?
the moon is, it depends on if it is a Lagna Lord. No, the moon also, you have to see the strength, but not really, because that is not one of the strengths for the Rashi. Unless you're saying that, oh, let's examine the sign of Cancer. And if the moon is in Aquarius, okay, from Cancer, of course, the moon is in the 8th house, but it is having an Abhimukha Drishti on the sign of Cancer. So that is superb. So the moon is very, very positive for that, if you're moon in Aquarius, but that won't mean that it will be able to fight all that. The only time when the moon starts to jump into the fight is when Rahu and Ketu are involved. That's when moon will just go on a war path. No, I wouldn't say war path, but it will basically not see, it will destroy Rahu and Ketu. So that's when moon really comes into its own. So I would not use moon as a strength, because there are many other rules for moon strength. But this is not listed by Parashara. What is listed is stick with a core principle, the three core principles: Lord of the sign Rashi, aspecting it by Rashi Drishti, and if there is any other planet which is friendly to that particular planet, that Lord, and it is aspecting that sign, then maybe yes, it's positive. If when we reach next year the Atmakaraka stage, which is a very very strong stage, if it is aspected by Atmakaraka, then yes, that is also counted as a strength. But don't, right now I think you just have to leave it for the moment. But yeah, that is also one of the strength. And Jupiter and Mercury jointly having Rashi Drishti on a particular Rashi is superb. That is called the fabulous, every Sarva Karya Siddhi, all the works will be successful if you have those two aspecting a particular sign. So for a case of Isabel, for example, her ninth house is aspected by Mercury Rashi Drishti as well as Jupiter Rashi Drishti. And Jupiter is also having a Graha Drishti, which is kind of like an added benefit, which is fantastic on her fifth house and her ninth house. So the ninth house is becomes very very strong for her, because there is a natural protection for her in the ninth house. So when there is a Narayan dasha or any of the Rashi dashas of the ninth house, then that becomes, it's not going to create problems for her. By and large it won't create problems. Okay, so that is how you read it. And even if there are problems, she will be able to overcome them, because there is that positivity of the joint drishti, Rashi drishti of Mercury and Jupiter. So you have to bear that in mind and you have to tap that. But ninth house is a purva, it's the our past. Unlike the all the other astrologers who say that ninth house is sorry, the fifth house is Purya Punya. That is not right. That is, please get that idea out of your head. That is absolutely wrong. The house of the past, from past lifetime, what you are bringing over to this lifetime is the ninth house. The current lifetime, the current period is your lagna, and your future, what you do with it, is the fifth house. What you do with your life, what you do with all this, what you make of it. That's why the fifth house, when we come to the bhavas shortly in a couple of weeks time, we will tackle the fifth house in a great depth, the trine houses 1, 5 and 9, because they are the most important, and they are also very important. Even like Nadi Jyotish makes like a complete meal out of them, as in like they are like super. They give a lot of stress to the 159 houses, and I do too. I think the power of the fifth house is phenomenal. So so that is how. So if you have a lord of the fifth house looking Rashi Drishti on the fifth, that is a fantastic placement. So especially of Jupiter and Mercury. Okay, so now we will begin, and I'm going to also say a couple of things about the rising signs. I think we've done this about day strong, night strong, but I'm going to still go through it so that it is in your head, and then you don't forget it, because you will use these things in a subtly. One fine day you will be like, oh, I wonder when it will give results, and that's when these concepts will be applicable. So the day and night signs and rising, the way they rise, Shirshodaya, that is a Udaya, that it means they are head rising, and those signs are also connected with the night strong signs, and they are sorry, day strong, and they are Leo, Libra, Scorpio, Virgo, Aquarius, and Gemini. And there is a logic to it. I'm going to come in the next slide. And the Shirshodaya is also powerful in the daytime. So they are day strong signs. Okay. They are very, very strong in the day. So if you are Leo rising, then ideally you should do a lot bulk of your stuff during the day, and leave the night for other stuff like Netflix or whatever. But essentially what I'm saying is that you do lot of, you be an early riser. If you're Libra rising also, then most of the time people are trading during the day, because the sign of Libra is very much closely related. If you have Libra at the angles, or if you have 10th house Libra with Sun in Libra, I know quite a few of you are here with that. But if you have that strong Libra sign, then you have to be very up early, sleep early and that kind of a thing, because it is a strong day strong sign. And Prishtodaya signs are hind rising, and they're strong in the night. So Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Sagittarius, Taurus are Prishtodaya and rise with a hind part. So if you are in like a Rashi Dasha, Narayan Dasha, or one of these signs, then you will find that because they are hind rising, they may give results towards the latter half of the planetary period, while the Shirodaya signs will give in the early part of that particular planetary period of that Rashi. And if the sign Pisces, the third option is sign Pisces, which rises with both head and the back. So that is, strong, equally strong. But for the sake of, classification, it has been clubbed as day strong signs. Okay. Even though Pisces, specifically Pisces, can be strong both times. That is, it's rising with his head as well as hind part. So, and Gemini. So easy way to remember is the first four signs are night strong. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and Capricorn. So first four are strong in the night. Then we have the next four signs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These four signs, Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, are strong during the day. And the night strong, then 2 of them are night strong, and the next 2 are day strong. So simple, it's a simple night, day, day. Okay. So 4, 4, 2, 2, simple. Okay. Just remember that 4, 4, 2, 2. And then the Sagittarius and Capricorn is of course night strong, and Aquarius and Pisces is day strong. Is everybody clear on that? Yeah. Okay. Let me just begin the slideshow. Okay, from the current slide. Okay, now the concept of the Dwadasha Aditya is very much linked with the Rashi. And why? Because just as the nakshatras are linked to the moon, and it's the nakshatras are the moon is the overseer lord of the nakshatras. The sun is the giver of the Aditya, or the sun, the 12 Adityas, or the sun. Surya is a giver of all the Rashis, which are heaped together. And Rashi literally means like heaping up my pile of mass, together. And so we all know that. I've repeated that many, many times. And roughly it travels on an average of 1 degree per day. So in 30 days, the sun has moved ahead by 30 degrees, so on and so forth. Now the names also, we have, this is coming from my tradition, but this is also based on the Parashara. there are different names even in Brihad Jataka, which I have put in here. Jatak Parijata. And I think last couple of sessions, we saw something from Saravali too. So these are some of the various names for Mesha, Vrishabha, and Mithuna, Karkata, Mrigendra or Leya. Kanya is Ramani or Taruni, and the Tula is Juka, Vanik, Dhata. So these are different names for the same sign Tula. I mean, the one which is highlighted in the yellow is the ones which are most commonly used. But if you do come across the other names, then don't get like, whoa, what's this? Just be aware of their names. I mean, you don't have to mug it up, but it's simple. Like, Ali is another name for Vrishchik. And Kita. Now, Kita is nothing but like an insect, small insect. So the whole ethos of Scorpio is all, insects, and Scorpio rules all the insects and all that. Of course, with, because of the Ketu connection. And so similarly, the ninth Dhanu is also called Chapa or Sarasana. 10th is Nakra. Now, Makara is for Capricorn, but typically in the tradition we use Nakra because that describes much better, rather than Makar. Makar has a really horrible anyway. The sign of Capricorn is it's a tough one. It's a very tamasic rashi. There's a lot of stuff happening with Capricorn, but remember one thing, that no matter what the sign is, no matter what your rising sign is, you have to remember that everything can be transformed to something else, and every rashi has a great blessing of some kind. It has a great strength. So one of the greatest strengths for Makara or Nakra, which is Capricorn, is its patience. It has phenomenal amount. It's like the tree that will just stand and wait, and millions of years will pass. It's like the redwood trees. You've heard of the redwood trees in California? Anyone? Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. No.
Huh?
What? No, I didn't hear
Yeah,
about
the
this
redwood
tree.
trees have been in California. They are like quite old trees. I think like 1,000, 2,000 or more. Even in India, some of the banyan trees and some of them, I've done the nakshatra workshops on just the trees for various padas and various thing. Some of the trees are really sacred and incredibly old. And just being there, it has an energy. And remember that any tree that you invoke, you're more likely to get the results, the benefits from a tree, meditating near a tree or hanging out near a tree, or if you're a garden, or even like having a miniature version or a picture. If you can't get, obviously you can't have banyan trees here, but depending on whatever your moon nakshatra or whatever, or even the signs have particular trees associated with it. So all of that is to invoke the power of healing, and and which will give you the things that you desire through that. But I've digressed a bit. But basically, Makar, the sign of Makar or Nakra, is got that kind of a patience which will be steady, and that is the whole strength of that sign. So don't be like, oh, it's a negative sign, and a tamasic sign and all. There is no, you're dealing with people here, and everything has great amount of strength. And of course, in the natural zodiac, the 10th house is Capricorn. So their karma is very, very strong. They're very driven to do what their karma is. So yeah, so you have to remember that. And the other thing is, and similarly Kumbha, um now Kumbha is again got like really bad rep, because it's like, Saturn and Rahu, both the lords of that Rashi. So it's really tough going. Well, it is, but the thing is, remember one thing: the more malefic your lord of your lagna is, the less troubled, by and large, you will have when the malefic transit comes along. Only because it's kind of like you live with that energy all the time. So there is no surprise there for you, versus like a Cancer lagna, and if a Shani transit is coming, it's like, oh my God, and Rahu at the same time. While Aquarius will not flinch, a Kumbha person will be like, yeah, whatever, So that is how you have to look at it. Like I said, everything has got great strength. And of course the Meena is the 12th one. It's the most favored one. It's the natural Pisces, and it's relates to the Vishnu Aditya, and one of the best. So so far so good. Yeah, again, this is, I think, this is from Saravali again. Deer faced is, we will come back to that when we do each of the signs in depth, when we start that. But before we start all of that, I want to go through, I'm assuming, and I've just put it here because I'm assuming that you all know this fundamentals, that the Aries is the fire, movable, Rajas, the Guna is Rajas, and it is male, which we did last time. And it is, the ruler is Mars. So we know that each of these rulers very well. Remember, Virgo is got Mercury as a ruler, as well as Rahu. It's not here. And Scorpio's got Mars and Ketu. Aquarius is Saturn and Rahu, and Pisces is Jupiter and Ketu. And so it is Sattva. So the dual signs by and large are Sattva Guna. So remember, once I said that, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, that there are two lists existing about regarding the gunas. By and large, the cardinal or the movable signs, Chara Rashis, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They are, they are sort of always moving. And so there is one fundamental, but I will reveal when you guys join my Sacred Sounds of Sanskrit on Saturday, because the cardinal signs or the movable Chara Rashis also have some association. If your Lagna is Chara, then you need a name, ideally with starting with 2 syllables, because you see, Chara Rashis are like quick moving, they move fast. They are creative in by nature. They are meant to, like, create. So that is their ethos, right? It is like Brahma, Brahma's, it's got, carries the energy of Brahma. It carries the energy of Kendras, which is all about creating, initiating, and it's got that go forth and do something, begin something, plant seeds. So you have to, on a very deep level, understand the Chara Rashis. Then the fixed signs, or a Sthira Rashis, which is like Sthira, completely stable, and, and they are by and large Tamas. Because why they are Tamas? Because it is overseer is Rudra, Rudra Shiva. They are represented by the Rudra Shiva, which is to do with disintegration, everything falling away. And remember, one of the biggest problems with Sthira Rashis is, Sthira is like fixed, is they don't want change. They hate change. Dr. B.V. Raman had all his planets, I think, in Sthira Rashis, practically all of them. I'll put up his chart in the Telegram group, and then you can analyze it. But he had all the signs, his planets including the Lagna in Sthira Rashi. So he had literally like 6 planets, or like at least 6 planets, if I'm not mistaken, in Sthira Rashis. He lived in that home, that particular home, and then which his grandfather had built. They lived in that home forever and ever, all till his death. He was in the same study and all of that. So this goes to prove something really interesting, that the sthir, you can't make them change. You can't get them to initiate, because they will carry on working, carry on doing in the mode that they are doing. Okay, so that is a very fundamental thing. And hence what happens then everything becomes very stagnant, and that is the problem with fixed signs. Sthira rashis have that fundamental issue, that everything is stagnant. Oh my god. So the karma is also like not moving forward, not moving. You can't get rid of it. It's like lying there, especially when it is a sign like Aquarius or Scorpio. Oh my god, that is tough to kind of move. So
Sonal,
yeah.
Sonal,
Yeah.
for Taurus, okay, sure, is a fixed sign, so outward fixed nature of the Taurus. But I was taught that the inner Rajasic tendency of Taurus, always seeking for newness, activity, difficulty to please them. There is
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, of
outward
course, because its ruler is Venus, which is
Venus.
Rajase. So like I said, there are 2 lists. Do not get confused. I've already said that, Isabel, that there are 2 lists. Do not get confused, because this is we are grouping this Rajas, Sattva and Tamas as per the Rashis. There is, sorry, as per the, like, whether it is Dvishwa Bhava or whether it is Sthira or it is
Yeah.
Chara, which is the 3 triplicity classification. There is another one on an individual level, which we did last time, which I can even we can do more of that again next time, which has kind of, but you have to work with both these lists. When you see Taurus, yes, it is very Rajasic. They want to create, not create, sorry, they want, in terms of, like, they want things, they want to manifest things, concrete things, substance, yes, it is all related to the Venus thing. So it is very desirous, it is very covetous, and that is the element of a Rajas coming in, which is to do with Venus and Mercury. Remember, Venus and Mercury will lend its Rajasness to the the planets. So
Yes.
so Libra, for example, is full Rajas, because the ruler is also Rajas, Venus, and then it is itself a Chara Rashi, and it is all about creating and Rajas. So Libra is 100% into Rajas. Don't ask Libra to do any, be a priest or something. It'll be a rare one. Okay. But at least with Taurus, you may find, because the resulting nature of, ultimately the result of Taurus will be of Sattva Guna, which is, like I said, that is another level on an individual. We will come to that another time, because I don't want to confuse you guys, because this is very fundamental. You have to know that the Dvishwa Bhava Rashis are Sattva Guna by and large. The Sthira Rashi are Tamas Guna by and large. And the Chara Rashis are Rajasic in their temperament by and large. Okay, so you have
Okay,
to
Sona.
understand that. Yeah.
Sona, so in that case, Scorpio is Tamas Tamas.
Uh-huh.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And if we stay Tamas, even at the third level, because I
Mm.
don't really, I it's quite clear the first and second level, but the third level, I'm still a little bit confused.
Yeah, we will do the
Because
third level. In fact, the third level, Margarita, we will have to, I will go through it, because it's like you have to think through things a little bit, but this is the first level. Then we superimpose the planets, and then we come to the third level. Okay, so don't worry about it too
Exactly.
much. Just remember that by and large, there is a reason. Fixed signs, they don't want to change. And then if you don't want to change, because everything about life is about movement, guys, everything about life is all about letting go. Your children become big, you have to let go of the attachment. You can't hold on to them and say, let them remain here, let my son remain here, let my daughter remain here. It's not going to happen. You have to let go of the reins. They have their own karma, they have their own thing, they have to make their own mistakes, their own blunders. Of course you have to guide them, but if they're not listening, even then what do? You have to just let go after some time, and you have to change gears. But that is very difficult for a sthira rashi to do. They'll be stuck. Why? So it's like a loop they will go in. Then we come to the Dvishwa Bhava. They are predominantly sattvic. In fact, when we come to the yogas next year, the yogas is a huge topic. Yogas is like, which yoga, what yoga? These form a particular yoga. If you have more than 3 or 4, at least more than 4 planets in a particular, let's say if you have fixed signs, 4 planets, like I gave you the example of B.V. Raman, he'd never moved. His, the house was still there, built by the grandfather. His father lived in it. He grew up in it. He died in it. He got married in it. Everything was the same house. No change, maybe a few additions here and there. Okay. So you see, that is all to do with sthira rashi, tamas. They don't want to move. That is how they are built. And if you have more than 4 planets, it creates a particular yoga. Let's say if you have 4 planets in movable chara rashis, then that will create a particular yoga and give you a particular blessing. So B.V. Raman did very well. I mean, he's like the granddaddy of Jyotish, so great legacy. So that is how you have to understand, so when we come to the yogas, you will know that, so for that, you need to know the basic, that what is the each sign, what does a sthira mean, what does it fundamentally mean. So you will also have to do on your part some amount of contemplation and thinking, and digesting these concepts, and they won't come overnight. And this is like the fundamentals. Yeah. And then the Dvishwa Bhava are both dual. So because they are Dvishwa Bhava, they can do both. So, they are predominantly Sattva Guna. Now you would say, but why Sattva? Only because think of their lords, Gemini, the main lords, okay? We are not talking of the non-body lords like Virgo and Pisces, but we are talking of the body. And if you think of the lords, it's Mercury and Jupiter. Both of them are sattvic, but again, Mercury is rajas. Okay. So there is that aspect of it. So don't try solving it through like, oh, but Mercury is rajas. And then if you combine the Gemini rajas and the Mercury is also rules Gemini, then it is rajas. It should be rajas. How is it sattva? We'll come to that. Okay. There's a separate logic for that. But for now, you have to understand the dual signs are sattvic by and large in nature. That means, what does it mean? They also have this inherent dual nature. So they can also be starters, huh? Don't get me wrong. It's not like that is the meaning of Dvishwa Bhava. That means everything is dual. They can do this, they can do that. They will change their mind and then change it back again. The dual signs have that thing going. They also have this inherent tendencies, like, in terms of karma, the karma that we are prarabdha karma, you can map it to the fixed sign. That is, you have to go through it. The chara one, if you have like, any of the karmic planet or atmakaraka in a chara rashi in your navamsh, then, you will be able to solve the karma this lifetime. No problems, quite easily, because you're starting things, you're ending things, you're finishing things and moving on. And same with Dvishwa Bhava, they can do both. They can start and they can also be stuck, consistent, stay the course, consistent, just like a fixed sign. So if you have like, Atmakaraka or something in your Navam's chart, in a Dvishwa Bhava, then yeah, sometimes your karma will feel like, oh my God, it's so difficult, but you'll be able to more or less kind of, with little help, with little remedies, you'll be able to overcome it. But the fixed sthira Rashi, that's tough to move that karma. It's difficult to shake that. Okay. So that is why I'm saying that the dual signs can do both, and they can manage, and hence they are kind of sattva, because the whole idea of life is to be like on the move and to finish things and to kind of have that little sense of detachment. That's why the Vishwa Bhava is also another reason why they are Sattva Guna. Okay. Is everybody understanding this? That there are many levels of this, seeing the Rashis in terms of gunas, but this is a very fundamental thing, looking at it from the Sthira, Chara, and Dvishwa Bhava aspect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what is the basic karakatva of each of the signs? That means what is it? Oh, no, just I've written it wrong for Aries. So what is the basic, what does it mean for each of the sign? What fundamentally it rules? We've already seen which body parts are mapped. That, of course, we have seen. But we have to also see that if you have a headache, there is something happening in Aries, if you're Aries, because everything will begin with the head. The head of Kalpurusha is all to do, sorry, the head of Mesha, which is Aries, has all got to do with the head, and your digestive fire, because it is a very strong fire, So that is the basic inclination. That is what it kind of oversees. Taurus is to do with facial organs, the sense organs, the mouth and all that, and fertility issues, so that falls under Taurus. Gemini is instability, up here, up down, like the markets, bronchial tubes, all this breathing. So that's why they say that Gemini Lagna, if you're a Gemini Lagna, then you should definitely do pranayama or anything in Gemini. You should do, pranayama, which will help you a lot. Any of the breathing, anuloma, loma techniques, breathe in, breathe out through the nostril, all of that will clear the whole bronchial tubes, lungs, and all of that area. It will make it much more conducive. Then it rules the hands and breasts as well. That is the whole idea
This
of
is not
Gemini.
really clear. This
Huh?
is not really clear to me why the breast, because I was thinking the breast was more for house.
No,
Because I mean,
this is no,
yeah.
we are not talking of houses. We are talking of the karakatva. That
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
all, what it represents,
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
it
So
is not
breast
about
pulse.
which part it rules. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry.
We know that the third house is about the shoulders and all that. We've already done that. I'm not
Mm.
talking about that.
Mhm.
This is very specific. This is about being,
Okay.
what it represents by and large. Okay. So that is a sign of Gemini, because it's like to do with the lungs, the breathing, the chest area. That is all Gemini, like breathe in, breathe, anything to do with breathing. Yoga, pranayama is to do with Gemini. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so because the air element is very strong in Gemini, it is one of the first things, sort of the air sign. Hence, the anything to connected with the bronchial tubes, breathing, and all of that is going to come into the picture. Okay, then comes, and also hands, because I would imagine hands is something to do with communication, and hence Gemini is big on communication. Okay, then we come to the sign of Cancer, which is all about motherhood, heart, see, chest area. Now breasts is different to the chest. Okay, Here, when they talk of Gemini, breast area, that is slightly different to the chest, as in like the overall chest area. I'm not talking the stomach, but the overall chest area. And breast, we talk only of men and women, just the breast area. So it's slight distinction they have created. And then we have to do with the blood. Of course, the blood and the colds and all that is to do with cancer, congestions, and all that. Only because, why would that be? Because blood, moon, all that is the connection, okay? And the water and things like that. Because it is the one of the first water signs. Then we have the Leo, which is to do with spine and stomach. We know Leo is stomach, but we have added spine as well to it, okay? So issues with the spinal cord or spinal region, Leo will be a big problem. If you have lots and lots of malefics in Leo, that may be the issues. These are the arenas where the issues may come up, okay? Then we come to Virgo, and this is a very important list because this will take you through a lot of, prashna and lot of things. You may not realize it, but it will work. Then the Virgo is the back, waist, bowels, intelligence. It also is where our intelligence is, because remember, Virgo is ruled by two very heady planets, which is heady planet. When I say heady, one is Mercury, which is a lot about our learning, language, and our thought and how we organize. And Rahu, the other ruler, which is got 10 heads, like many, many, many heads. Rahu is constantly thinking, 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 while Ketu is exactly the opposite. It's headless. There is no head. Remember, Ketu has no head. So it just follows. It's like tunnel vision. I'm going to follow this and I'm going to do this. That's why soldiers in the army are represented by Ketu. They are the Karakas. Ketu is a Karaka for the soldiers in the army, because you have to be headless. You just have to go kill the enemy, use your tools to kill the enemy. That's it. That's their instruction. That's what they will follow. Okay. So hence Ketu. So, and the polar opposite, Rahu, Virgo, lot of thinking going on. So hence intelligence comes into play. And Libra, the sign of Libra is a lot to do with the navel, the urinary tract, and the urinary systems. That is all to do with Libra. Kidneys, I would say, but then again in the Naisargika Kal Purusha, anyway, the kidneys are mapped to Libra anyways. Scorpio. So for example, if you have Rahu or Shani Rahu conjunction in Libra, even though, okay, maybe that's a bad example, not so good, because Shani is exalted in Libra. But let's say if you have Mars and Ketu in Libra, I guarantee you will have troubles from kidneys, urinary tract infections, or some such thing. I guarantee you, I have experienced it myself. I've got Mars in Libra. I know, I speak from experience. It's not urinary tract, but definitely to do with kidneys for sure. That will be like your weak part. In Ayurveda, like Advait, that was the first thing my Ayurvedic doctor told me. He said, your weakest thing is the liver and kidneys, because liver and kidneys are closely related. And when he looked at the chart, he was like, of course, because Mars in Libra, of course. So that's why I'm saying that zone in onto that part where there are three crosses, the house where there are, or the Rashi where there are three crosses, or even two crosses, or where there are preponderance of malefics in a particular Rashi, because this is what is going to turn up, guys. Libra, urinary system, kidneys, if there is in Libra. Similarly, in Scorpio, excretory systems, genitals, all the things that you cannot see from exterior. So all that will be problematic, if you have malefics in Scorpio. Similarly, Sagittarius, malefics in Sagittarius, hips, arteries, accidents, fall, all that is a big issue going on in there. Okay. Fall, often they say that the sign of Sagittarius, if you have a atmakaraka there, at some point you will suffer from some kind of a fall, as in like falling down the ladder or falling down the building, or, well, God forbid, but falling down, some kind of fall will be there, which will hurt you, or you may have an accident where you fall over or something like that. So that is to rule by the sign Sagittarius. That is a Jaimini Sutra, one of the great Jaimini Sutras. Anyway, I digress. So coming back, in fact, I have digressed because that fall wasn't there, and I have put it there because I remembered the Jaimini particular sutra for Sagittarius, especially if you have um, Karakamsha there, that is in your D9, the Atmakaraka, you take it to Karakamsha, in the D9, it's Karakamsha. So anyway, just a little digressing. Then we have Capricorn, which is bone, skeleton, knees. Now, please do not get confused. Sun, Surya, the list of the planets is very different to the Rashis. Do not try doing the wizardry of like, oh, I'm going to now map the planets to the Rashis and then come with a result. No, don't do that. Sun is the Karaka for bones, teeth, everything. Okay, Surya. But when it comes to the Rashis, it is Capricorn that holds the Karkatva of the bones, the skeleton, the knees. Yeah. So you have to remember that. Okay. Then we have Aquarius, which is like Shanks, circulation system, heart disease. Remember, I said last time that Aquarius has Roga. It is also called the sign in one of the Sanskrits, which it is mentioned in Saravali. It says Ridroga. So that is also another name for Aquarius, and it means heart disease. Lot of planets, Aquarius moon, Aquarius lagna, guaranteed. Take care of your heart. Whatever it is, take care. Okay. Similarly, Pisces is compassion. It's a Karaka. The Karaka for compassion and all of that is the sign Pisces, and feet, lymphatic system, and self. They will give themselves up for the betterment of society and others and people around them. That is a very Piscean theme. Okay. So we are done here, more or less, in terms of at least some of the, we'll come back to all this. The directions, I think I will deal with the directions when we do the detailed, gunas and all that. But we can, by and large, remember now again, please, one note for you guys: do not mix the Shadbala, that is a Kal Chakra, with the Rashi directions, because those were the planetary directions. These are the Rashi directions. Okay, everybody understand that? Yes. So Aries, so by and large, the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, are coming from the east, or rather they rule the eastern direction. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, southern direction. Gemini, all the air signs are western direction, and the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces is northern direction. So please do not get confused. Just remember that. Okay, that there is no confusion. One is Rashis, another one is planets, and Shadbala, not Shadbala, Digbala, and of planets, which is to do with grahas, and the other one is to Kal Chakra, which is again mapped to the grahas. Okay, so which graha is strong in what direction, and which graha creates a problem for that particular graha in that direction. So that is the graha story. But here we are talking of the Rashi story. Aries, Taurus is eastern direction, Cancer, Leo, South, Libra, Scorpio, West. Now, what you need to remember though is that whatever your rising sign, it will behave like Aries, Taurus, right? The first two rising signs. So the eastern direction is very positive for you. There will be success in that, okay? But that doesn't mean that, um, you have to then move to that direction, because got a slightly different uh, way of looking at it. The best thing for physical movement, that is, you want to relocate to a particular place, is best to use a from the Arud Lagna. We've already done that. That from the Arud Lagna, you move to the favorable direction where that particular planet has got Digbal. Okay, we've done that. But here it's like also that if you were to move in the east, if you're, let's say, Aries is the Lagna at the commencement of a journey, or if the moon be in Aries, then there is going to be success in the eastern direction. So, but that doesn't mean that you're going to actually move there. It just means that if a person does make like a trip abroad and he's going to, let's say, east, and his moon is in Aries or he's Aries Lagna, then that will be beneficial for him. He will make a success out of that undertaking. It could also work very well in the Prashna. Somebody says, I'm starting my business, I have some deals going, what should I do? Should I go here? Should I go there? Or they may ask some question, and then you see that, wow, it's Taurus rising. Sure, you should go in that eastern or moon in Taurus, definitely. If the moon is well placed in the Prashna chart, then definitely go in that direction. Is everybody clear on that? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's not going in that direction. It just means that that direction will help you to succeed, is what it means. So you're not now suddenly relocating your whole house based on your rising sign. Okay. Don't, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. Now, remember, we come back to my favorite strength of the Rashi. Three particular, thing for gauging the strength. And the fourth one is Atmakaraka, which I'm giving you a little extra here. It is not in Saravali. It is again Gemini, but just run with it, okay? Because it'll help you. Now, the abodes. Have we done the abodes? Anyone, guys?
No, I don't
No.
think we have.
No, no.
We
No?
haven't done it.
No. Okay.
No, no.
So where do these Rashis, what do they represent? Where do they live? As in, not live, physically live, but what do they, oversee? What does it mean for a particular Rashi? What does it represent in terms of its situation on the planet? Is it like farmland? So for example, when we do the D4 chart, okay, the D4 chart is for properties, okay? And when we see a very strong Virgo, or, very strong, lot of planets, very strong Virgo and things like that, and the Lord is also very strong, then we can say that sign, that Virgo, meaning you'll be very happy with living on a farm or a farmland, or in a like a countryside where there are like open fields and a little bit of farmland and things like that. And why would one say that? Because here it says the Virgo, sixth Virgo, is a pasture land or pleasure room of a woman. Now, the pleasure room of a woman can, it's got multiple meanings. It could well be like her, like her beautiful, pristine bedroom and things like that, like a very, where she's dressing up and things like that, where they have, it's not the bathroom, it's the area between, they come out of the bathroom and they are kind of having like a nice, if you're very, very wealthy enough. And in the olden days, they would have this like an ante room, not the bedroom where you actually sleep, and it's not the bathroom. It's the middle room where you have all the beautiful clothes laid out. Maybe you'll get a massage there. It has a nice overlooking into a little courtyard or something, where you can actually get the massage done and things like that. So that is all very much to do with the sign Virgo. Okay. So that is, something a little bit like a luxury kind of a thing, and that is all comes under Virgo. But farmlands, pastures, beautiful grazing fields and all that, it comes under Virgo. Okay. So if you see a strong Virgo or a very strong moon in Virgo, then you know that these people at some deep down, they harbor like a desire to have like another place where they can go and retire. Yeah. Come on,
It
guys.
could be
Anybody with,
also, yeah, I have Virgo, I have moon in Virgo,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, I
exactly.
know, I love spas. I really love.
Yeah. So you see, yeah, that it's quite evident, the Virgo thing. So similarly, coming back to Mesha, okay, the ram is the surface of the earth containing precious stones and yielding minerals. So so things like excavations where they are digging for diamonds and all kind of semi precious stones and things like that will come under the category of Aries. Okay, will come under Mesha. And minerals where silica and all of these minerals, there's been a farming of all of that, then definitely that is all to do with the ram, Aries. um, the Vrishabha, which is Taurus, is the bull, and it is the stables. It could be a horse stables too, but then if it is a horse stable, I would go with sign Sagittarius. We'll come to that. Um, yeah. So in terms of stables, land, farms, the cow stations, and the forest, that is all to do with Taurus. I mean, beautiful, calm forest, beautiful, forests. And um, cow station means literally where all the cows are together and they're being fed, and then there's water and, all of that. There's a particular word that escapes me in Hindi. It is, it'll come to me, I've forgotten, but it's in India. You have all these cows all together, and then, for milking in a very traditional, a lot of smaller towns have that, and they will have this kind of made from cement. There'll be like a one kind of like a well which will be full of natural water, and there'll be a lot of haze and all that, which the cows
Gosh,
love to eat. Yeah, gaushala, that's it, Gaushala. So, which is nothing but the cow station, and that is all ruled with Vrishab. Okay, perfect. So, which is Taurus. Then we come to Mithuna, which is gambling house, pleasure haunts. Oh, love it. Like in all over UK, we all know that people who live here, right? That there are these betting places. You can go and bet. Remember the sports when betting, Margaret, everywhere, they're all round. So all that comes under the Gemini. Um, uh, some hotels have like little roulette places and all that, and all that is all falling under Gemini. Pleasures, parks, gardens. Now, the Gemini park or garden is distinctively different from the farmlands of Virgo. Even though both are into the park and garden, Gemini is more pristine and more pretty and more like manicured and well made and all that. That is Gemini. Okay. But Virgo is like laid back, nice farmlands. They are not like big trees and all. No, 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 no. That is Taurus and other ones. But so there's a distinction between Gemini and Virgo. Then we have the crab, the kataka, which is the ponds, little ponds and little sandbank in the midst of water. So all that is, all of that is, so it's like a a rockery garden with like little puddles of water and all that, little fountains, all of that will be Kataka, which is Cancer. Then Simha will be deep mountain caves, and you go in, you go there, meditation, dense, super dense forests, So again, the Taurus forest is different to the Simha forest. Simha forests are super dense, tall trees, and oh my God, even the tall trees, I think, will come in Sagittarius, will come to that. But it's thick forests, and that is Leo. Then Virgo we already did. Then Libra is the bazaar. Go to Morocco. If you want to see real bazaar, go to Morocco or go to Varanasi or any bustling city, village city in India where there is like open markets, fruits markets, anything. Oh, your head is going to spin because everybody's trying to call you and giving you good deals and all of that. And there is a smell of spices to, flowers, to incense, to the works, the food and everything, that is Libra. It's the proper bazaar of a city, abounding in all kinds of valuable things. You name it, and it is packed, jam packed. So it's not like a shopping mall. I would not say shopping mall will be Libra, but
So
that
it's
also.
not. So I was thinking shopping center, in the West could
Yeah.
be Libra.
Yeah, it
Okay.
could be that. But to get a real feel of what Libra is, the marketplace, you have to go to those kind of places like Morocco, where there's
Yeah.
everything.
Like they have always called.
Yeah,
souk.
everything piled up, and
Mm.
you can see, and there's smells, and everybody's like, for 10 pounds, do this, whatever. So that is all to do with Libra. But yeah, shopping malls up till a point. Yeah, sure. Definitely in modern cities, definitely. And yeah, the Westfield, the
Yeah,
Westfield
exactly. I
Center.
was thinking something like this.
The
Exactly.
Westfield, luxury, Louis Vuitton, and like fancy brands, and you're walking, and yeah, that is the real high-end Tula, very high-end, very fancy, and cobblestones, and you have Tod's on one side and Louis Vuitton on the other, and then Omega watches and Pate Philippe on the other. Yeah, all that is also Libra, but it's on the more city side, so you have the whole spectrum. Then we have Scorpio, which is to do abounding in flint or holes or noxious reptiles. Um, that is like a little zoo, and like insects and all of that will be. Islands are also up till a point ruled by Scorpio, by the way. So when we talk of islands, Scorpio will also oversee that. A board of Scorpio is also islands, so yeah, where there are a lot of like animals that live both on land and water and who are basking, so that is all Scorpio. The camp or barrack containing horses, chariots, and elephants is the place of Sagittarius. So, see, I did say that. So, it is distinctively different. When it comes to, instead of cow stations, and we said earlier about Gaushala, this is different to the horses stables, because the horses, when we start talking about the horses and chariots and elephants, then we are talking of Sagittarius, definitely. Horses have a very even in the symbolism, when we do the Sagittarius examples, we will have the horses. Horses play a very important role. And the home of Makara, or the deer faced, is a river, or the deer faced is a river or other water abounding region. Now, this is, I will alter that to say that it's actually swamps. That is water, marshy areas where your feet just goes in into the sand, and it's swampy and it's muddy and it is horrible. That's my
Oh,
worst
thank you.
nightmare. It is really is my,
Because
I have got caught in that.
I was going to ask you if, for example, Scorpio could be also marshy, but you just answer, so it's more
No, no.
Makara. Yeah.
Makar
Mm,
is marshy.
mm,
Makar is super
marshy.
marshy. Scorpio is not
Mm,
marshy. Scorpio may
mm,
just be like little stagnant poodles of water, or little where tadpoles are diving in and out and all of that,
mm.
if that. But the big swamps are, where crocodiles live. Think of the big
Yeah.
crocodiles,
Mm,
and
mm,
then
mm,
you will think of Makar or Nakra. That is definitely, dal dal. It is in Hindi. People who understand Hindi will know about it. Vibha, yeah, it's called dal dal. It's like, you step in and your feet goes in. It's like a sandy, whatever they call the dark gray sand, and it's wet, and your feet will just sink in. If you've been on the beach, you will know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get these like little regions, but of course beach is very pretty compared to the daldal or the
mm.
swampy marshes of Makar. The seat of Kumbha is water pot and the receptacles of vessels in a house. So you see, that is the whole idea of Kumbha. A person carrying a pot is about that. The significance of the water pot, or where you store water, is all about to do with Kumbha. That's why I keep saying, if you want good health, just do one thing. Whatever the water you use, pour it in big copper vessels, and the big jars, or you get like a hole in India. When I was growing up, my grandmother had this big copper container with a little tap at the bottom, and you still get it. It's like a upturned bucket, but with a tap at the bottom, and it was on a stand and everything, and everybody would drink water from that, and that is was made from copper. And in the winter you could also heat up the water in that, so because it had like a big rod in the middle, like a cylindrical rod, where you put charcoal in, and burning charcoal in, and it would burn and heat up the whole big, like a container cylinder of water. So that is also to do with Aquarius or Kumbha. In fact, that is a great remedy for clean water. Okay, that is a fantastic remedy. You should all have that copper water, copper vessel. Pour it in the tap water in the night, leave it overnight, and then drink. Make it into a habit. The resort of Pisces or Meena is a river at the sea and similar collections of water. So the river is definitely Pisces. I mean, rivers and sea waters, and, finally where it all lands in the sea is Pisces. Okay. So those are the different abodes of the Rashis. So you should instantly be able, and this is used all the time, I mean, God, all the time we use this for D4 charts, figuring out where the fourth lord is going, what sign it's doing, and you will need to know this. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
No. Okay, so let's do the Badhaka, and then Badhaka Rashis, and then we will end. Okay. um no questions. Yeah, so okay, so the Badhak planet, or the obstructing causing planet, every Rashi has a Badhak. Okay, understand this on a very deep level. Have I done this before with you guys? No, right?
No,
No.
never,
No.
never.
So this is like, oh my God, we use this all the time. Every Rashi has a Badhak. Badhak is nothing but, in Sanskrit it means an obstruction. It's like you're hitting something which is oppressing, harassing you. It won't make you move forward. It's injuring you. It's often the case, like, everything is set, you have done your exams, you are pegged, everything is going well, and suddenly something comes and you have a fall or breaking of a leg, and you can't answer something, or something happens, and some family person is like injured, where you have to look to, or a child is injured, your son or daughter, and then suddenly your plan that you had, some workshop you had planned, or everything goes pear-shaped, so that is nothing but obstructions. Those are karmic. Those are also, each Rashi has a built-in obstruction which you can never, you have to understand that it's not that you cannot get rid of it. You can overcome them, but you can never ignore it. You can never, they will always be there, and every Rashi has it. Okay. So, and in Jyotish, it is signified hindrance and harm from black magic and other evils. Yeah, definitely. And in modern times, in the age of psychology, Kal Yuga means negative patterns, expectations stored in the vaults of our subconscious. Of course, so it may well be that it is coming from within you, and where we are self sabotaging. But whatever it is, whether you're doing it even by Carl Jung saying, oh, it's self sabotage, or whether it is coming from an external source, it doesn't matter, because the Badhak is Badhak, okay? Planet which is causing an obstruction or that particular sign is called the Badhak Sthan. That is the placement, that is, Sthan is situation or the house, and that particular and it's that particular sign will always create a problem. Okay, that particular house will create a problem. So for dual signs, it is the seventh lord or the seventh house. Okay, now please go slowly, okay, because this is going to be a detailed exercise for all of you guys, because before I move to each of the like lagnas, Aries and all of that, which we will do, I want you to get this concept very, very clear, because this, along with all the drishtis, the crosses, remember the crosses and the strengths, you will use all the time, because you want to know where the problem is, where the crosses are, and what is a badhak to that, which will create a double badhak, that is a double obstruction. Many crosses, that is also the badhak sign. Then many crosses there. Okay, so that literally means you have to solve the problem. With Badhak, there is no way out. Ganesha is one of the best remedies, but there are other remedies, but by and large it is Ganesh, and that will remove the problems. But they are also very specific Ganesh remedies, according to your signs and things like that. So the dual signs, it's the seventh lord or the seventh house. Okay, for all dual signs, wherever, whichever, doesn't matter. If you have whatever your rising sign, if it is in a dual one, the seventh house from there will form a Badhak Sthana. That is the house where it is going to be a Badhak or obstruction. If there are no planets there, you'll have to take the Lord. And where the Lord goes, that's your Badhak planet. Okay. Oh, sorry, the Badhak. That's your Badhak planet. So by and large, all Mercury ruled dual signs will have Badhak Lord as Jupiter and vice versa. So if you have, if you're Pisces as well as Sagittarius, your Badhak Lord is always going to be Mercury. Okay. And in some cases, of course, Rahu as well, because, the dual rulership. The Chara Rashis, or the angular signs or the movable signs, will have 11th Lord or the 11th house as the Badhak. Okay. And what does that mean? So that means that if you are Aries Lagna, then your 11th house is your problem. If you have many planets in 11th, I assure you each of them will someday or the other give you some problem. That means it is a natural, if it is Aries, that means a natural Badhak for all of us. This is like a little derivation of the rule of Badhak. The natural Badhak is always our 11th house. So now you see why I keep saying that the 11th house is not where you get beaten up. because that is the natural Badhak. Okay, that is the where you're going to get beaten up. So for
Yeah.
Aries, yeah. So for
Can I ask one
Aries,
question?
yeah, go on.
So, ma'am, when you're saying this Badhak planet is an obstruction and all, so do they obstruct or give obstacles throughout the life, or when the dasha, antardasha, or something like that comes up,
Not
or
throughout.
they trouble more during dasha, antardasha?
Yes, they do trouble more, but they can be overcome. That is what is a very crucial way. You just have to figure out what is the way to overcome them, you know.
Okay. So my question was, ma'am, if somebody is having an Aries Lagna,
Yeah.
so 11th is Aquarius, 11th house is going to be Aquarius. So
Yeah.
11th house is Badhak, and then if Saturn is retrograde in the chart, may or may not be in the 11th house, and if Saturn Dasha comes, that is Mahadasha. So yeah, with some remedies we'll overcome it. But if a native is not knowing it, then we can say that Saturn Dasha will be bad for her or him.
Yes, by and large, Saturn will create a problem depending
Okay,
on where the placement of Saturn is. Now, I'm coming to the third part of it. Okay, so just bear with me.
okay, ma'am. Okay.
If there are no planets in the 11th house, and the same thing with the dual signs, if there are no planets in the 7th house, similarly with the fixed signs, it is the ninth house. If there are no planets in the ninth house, then you always take the Lord. That's number one. Okay, see where the Lord is going, and that particular house, that particular Lord will create a problem. Okay, that's,
And Sona,
yeah.
may I ask you, if, for example, you have a planet in the, I mean, for a Stira Rashi, you have a planet in the ninth house, and that planet is exalted.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, my example, I,
No, no,
I'm
no, no.
Scorpio
Margarita,
Lagna.
Margarita, let me just, we'll come to
Ah, all right.
the charts
Okay.
in a bit.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's just stick
Sorry.
with right now. Let me just finish this. And then we come
Mm.
to the individual, at the end. Yeah. So let's just go through with this. Okay.
Mhm.
External, I have a question that
Yeah.
when there are two planets or more planets in, in the Badhak houses,
Yeah.
then how do you analyze that?
Yes, they both will create problems. Like
Oh,
I said, if there are planets in the Badhak Sthan, there is the Badhak house, seventh house for dual, for movable signs, it is the 11th house, and for fixed signs, it is the ninth house. If you have planets in any of these houses, whether one, two, any amount, they all will create a problem up till a point. It depends on what, how you then we will look at the rule of conjunctions and who will give results of what. Because sometimes if you have three planets, let's say you have like let's say dual signs. Okay, you are Gemini rising, and you have Jupiter in Sagittarius with Venus in Sagittarius. Okay, fine, good, superb, Jupiter in its own sign. But Jupiter won't create a problem, you see, even though Jupiter is the seventh lord and it is in its own house in the Badhak Sthan, that is in the creating a problem there. But Jupiter, because it is in its own sign, it will not create a problem. It will hand over the problems to Venus and say, hey, Venus, you create the Badhak. I'm going to be here and I'm going to be happy. Okay. I'm going off. Remember, it's Lord Shiva meditating. So he's going to go up in the mountains and meditate. And then Venus will then carry the load of Badhak and create problems, all kinds of problems in the relationship. Okay. So that is how you want to read it. Okay. So coming back, the 11th house for movable signs, the Chara Rashis will always create a problem. Now, 11th house for Chara, for example, for Aries, 11th is two lords. Okay. Now, both the lords, wherever they are placed, they will create a problem. Unless the cardinal rule is for all of them, it applies, unless the planet is in the 12th house. Then it is a very good Raj Yoga. Then all your Badhak will just somehow fizzle out and vanish. Okay. But there is a caveat to it. Okay, we will come to that. But essentially, the only exception is that if you have the provided there are no planets in that house. So if your Aries Lagna, nothing. If you have Rahu and Shani both in the 12th house, superb. If you have only Rahu in the 12th, okay, it's good. Only at least some Badha will go away. Okay. But what about Shani? Shani will create a problem wherever it goes, it will create a Badha. So definitely. And yeah, and similarly, so you see what the universe is saying, that your biggest blocks as a dual sign will come from the relationship. Oh, she said this, he said this. Sagittarius Lagna people are famous. Oh my God, he said this, she said that, I don't agree, blah blah blah. So that is all dual signs. So seventh house and the seventh lord will create problems for them all the time. Gemini Lagna, they want to keep focusing on other Gemini man, they want to keep looking at other women and keep other, everything is all about the Mithuna. It's like, oh, I like to talk to this girl, oh, she's smiling at me, oh, it's all like that. It's all about the seventh house or the seventh lord. Then the other thing is the movable signs. Their biggest Badhak is their guru, their friends. Oh, I have to study. No, let's just go out and have a drink and all. Okay, let's go. That's the movable signs. They are prone to their friends saying, hey, come out for a drink. It'll be fun. Let's go. So similarly, Makar Lagna, a Scorpio is going to be a Badhak. They are going to feel the pressure, like, oh, anything they want to study, like deep occult and all, there will be blocks in their practices. So you have to consider what are the blocks and then start to remove them slowly and slowly. So similarly, and remember, when we come to the significations of all the houses, the 11th house is also your guru, where your guru sits. So then for Chara Lagnas, the guru will always be some kind of a bone of contention. They will have a problem with them. Okay. So then comes the Sthira Rashis. Now, fixed signs, the father figures, the mentors, the gurus, always a problem. Always a problem. They will feel, oh, he's not supporting me, or the father is not quite understanding me, or something the father will do and it will work to your disadvantage. That is all to do with the fixed signs. And because the 9th house is the Badha or Badhak Sthana, and the lord of the 9th is a Badhak lord, So that is how you want to read that. Now, like I said, last and the only thing I want to say is that first you have to see, do not harbor the illusion, I have no Badha. It is impossible, because if you may not have Badha from Lagna, but you will have 11 other Rashis which will give you Badha. So don't be happy like, oh, I'm Aries Lagna and my Saturn and Rahu are in the 12th house. My Badhak has vanished and I have no planets in my 11th house. I am so happy. Or I'm Scorpio Lagna and my moon is in the 12th house. Not a problem. All my Badhak has vanished and I have no planets in the 9th house. It's not going to work like that. Yes, from the Lagna, it will not, you may have like a slightly, easier time. But there are, like I said, 11 other houses. There are 11 other Rashis that you will have to contend with, because your life is not just about one Rashi. You have 11 other aspects of your life. Your 4th lord may be in the 4th house. Your 4th lord may be in the 10th. It may create a Badha in itself, So you see, you have to figure out what is going on, in the other houses too, from Aruda, from everywhere. So essentially, this is a very, very deep and a fundamental concept. It will be, the Badhak is nothing but like an Rahu. It's like, think of Rahu and Shani all together, and all the problems and the chaos and the the depression and the you know, not reaching your goal, not being reaching the success point that you wish to desire, that you so desire, is all Rahu and Shani. So that is how they will behave. But it's not impossible. It is through mantras and through, you know, appeasing, they can be removed. Okay. But first you have to be aware that there is a concept like Badhak. Okay. So now anybody wants to talk?
What
Yeah,
happens
can I
if
ask
the
you?
12th
One by one, guys, one by one.
what happens if the 12th lord is in the Badhak stan?
12th Lord is in the Badhak Sthan. Yeah?
Yes. What happens then?
Well, then there are blocks to your spirituality, you know,
Oh,
your healing. You know, if you are, let's say, you have like a long, you need to recuperate. You have had some kind of like a big bout. Let's say you have had some kind of like a, you know, long illness, you know, and you are finding it very difficult to recover. And that is nothing but a Badhak. You know, it's prolonged. It's like a bit like, think of it like a long COVID, you know, you know. It's a bad example. I don't want to make fun of it, but really, some people are suffering. Huh?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but you know, because I also have had you know, Omicron, and I have felt like, oh my god, it's not fully gone. I still feel a little, you know, funniness in my chest and like my throat and my head, and you know, it's not 100%. So think of it like a long COVID. So it's not going away. What is going on, you know? Because 12th house and the 12th lord is where you recuperate your health, where you take rest and come out, you know, you rest. Your sleep patterns may be totally disturbed. Maybe you can't go to sleep. Maybe you're falling asleep at 7 o'clock. Have you heard of those people who are like forever like falling asleep? Have you heard of those kind of people?
Yes,
I have a
narcoleptic
condition,
people.
Sorry,
narcolepsy,
guys, one by one. What's going on? Yes? Hello?
I was just saying, yes, narcoleptic people. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a disease.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some issue with the 12th house, right? So that must be in a Badhak or something, creating a huge Badhak. You know, sometimes there are people who can't sleep before midnight or 1 o'clock, and then they wake up at like 10 o'clock. That's a Badhak, you know. Of course, there are other factors that's not as, you know, clear or, you know, but you see my point. So every house has a particular Badhak. So don't rejoice that. But yes, by and large, if your Lagna, from your Lagna, if your Badhak Lord is in the 12th house, or even the 6th house up till a point, or I would even stretch it a little bit to the 8th house, then the Badhak is kind of diffused, and 12th house 100% it's diffused. 6th and 8th a little bit less and less. Okay, but it may have other issues, provided you don't have anything in that particular house of Badhak. Okay, the Badhak Sthan. Okay, who's
So-
next?
So
Can I
now,
ask question?
Yeah.
you go. You go into,
If your Atma Karka, if your Badhak is Atma Karka also.
Badhak is Atmakaraka, that is
Yeah.
fine. That means this lifetime
What
it's
does
all
that mean?
about the, you know, your guru, and you know, because you're Aries, right? Is this Vibha?
Yeah. Yes.
Vibha, yeah.
Yeah.
Vibha,
Yes.
Aries Lagna, right?
Yes.
So Rahu is your Atmakaraka.
And Saturn, right?
No. Who's your Atmakaraka, Rahu or Shani?
Well, it's 11th house, Aquarius. There's no planets there.
Yeah, but
So-
who is your Atmakaraka?
Shani.
Yeah. So Shani is your Atmakaraka. So
Yeah.
yes, it is a big about, you know, it is about removing the blocks, your friends, your guru, and also don't forget the Shani's rulership of the 10th house. It's your karma bhava. It's your Gagana Lagna. It's your heaven, 10th house.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yeah.
exit the planet without finishing all the karmas that you are born to do this lifetime, you know, is the 10th house. Don't forget the Shani's rulership of the 10th house for Aries, or for that matter, any, you know.
Yeah, and it's sitting in Capricorn too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So
so that is okay. That means the Badhak will be there in the 10th house. Every time you go to do something significant, or, you know, something to do with your karma, something comes along and it kind of takes you to another course and all that. But you also have to see what Rahu is doing.
Yeah,
Because you see, if Shani is in its own house, Rahu you have to look to for the Badhak. Because
Yeah.
Rahu is going to be giving you the bigger Badhak than Shani.
yeah, that's exalted in third house in Gemini.
Okay. What's happening with your
Exciting.
siblings then?
Oh, okay. I'm okay with all of them.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, I'm the youngest, so you know what I mean. They're older, so they're always, you know, being older than me and telling me, you know, so they're being siblings. That's all.
But we have to also look at other things, what is going on, where Mercury is,
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yeah.
and if it is in the third house, the third house is also our desires and our mind, you know. So how's the mind thinking? How is, you know, what is going on there? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, is this from me or from someone? Yeah.
No, I guess it's from Margarita.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
So
thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next? Isabel?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Right.
Margarita.
I've tried the fourth time. I try. Well, I after Isabel, no, I have a few questions. Then
Okay,
I
go
ask
on,
you mine.
Isabel.
Okay. So if you have the Badhak Lord sitting in the house where you have already the 3 red crosses, have to remove the blocks.
Yeah.
This is more than ever karmic here in the 10th house.
So hang on. Taurus Lagna, right?
Yes, Taurus Lagna, 9th house, no planets in. So the Lord to be considered, Saturn,
Yeah.
sitting in the 10th house in Aquarius, where
Yeah.
I have already 3 red crosses.
In Aquarius. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. So that is big karma for you there then. And that is also Sasama Purush Yoga, Isabel. You know, that is a very, very nice, but it's not easy path, huh? You have to remove the karmic blocks. You have to remove the badha that is coming from there because of the karmic blocks. And it's something to do for society through learning, and, you know, heavy duty there is, you know, big one,
Yeah.
you know.
And have to consider I'm running actually my Saturn Mahadasha.
Okay.
So it's going to be more intense.
Yeah. Where's Rahu though?
Rahu is in the second.
Okay. So, but Shani, you said, is in Aquarius in its own sign. So it won't give the result of it. It's in its own Multrikona, right? So it won't give results of that. So who will give the result?
So the exaltation node of Saturn.
Mhm.
No?
Yeah.
Venus.
Yeah.
Okay. So Venus in the third house.
Yes.
About
So
communication and I don't know.
yeah. Second
Okay.
third house, communication, the mind. How do you train the mind? So you are like Vibha, yeah? Yeah, you know, there's siblings and some kind of strange situations and strange ways of thinking, but you have to kind of manage that, you know, because the third
Okay.
house is, the third house will give an issue. Also
Okay.
to do with
So
coordination, something about coordination, you know, because the third house is also the way we, you know, our movement and coordination is also an issue. And trips, you know, short trips, there may be some, Have you ever experienced that?
On short trips, no. So if we have the Lord of the Badhak in its own sign, is not the one to give the results. Huh?
I mean,
Again.
it will give, because the 10th house is a problem. It is going to create some problem or the other, but that is, kind of, because
Okay.
it's in its own sign, it takes away. Shani will say, I will give it to Venus to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
it will farm it off to Venus. You see?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will think about.
And
Thank you.
Venus is having a drishti on that Shani. Both of them are having a graha drishti, which is actually very nice. So Venus
Yes.
will, you have to figure out what is Venus for you, how it's going to help you. Your siblings, do you have siblings?
Oh yes, I've got 3 sisters and 1 brother.
So are you the third sister?
I'm the eldest one.
And you have 2 more sisters below you?
3 more. 3
3
sisters and
sisters?
one brother.
Okay, okay.
We are
Yeah.
not close at all. So I've been living abroad for such a long time, so we just catch up from time to time.
Yeah. But that will
So
create a problem there, something to do with siblings. So it's like you have siblings, you don't, doesn't feel like you do, but you have them. And also remember, some of them may not be doing that well, actually.
oh yes, I know. Some are doing very badly.
Yeah. And same with Vibha, yeah?
Yeah, there's in my family we are 8 of us. Yeah, and I'm the youngest.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a huge age difference from the
Yeah.
eldest to the youngest, and I've lived abroad most of the time, and
Yeah.
like that.
So you're
So,
in Isabel, sharing
yeah,
the same Badhak.
yeah. I always look at her chart. We have a similar things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So
So can I ask
yes.
a question?
Yes,
Sonia?
Margarita, go on.
I mean, it's very simple, it's very quick. Basically, just if I understood, for example, you said an example of, in the 7 for a dual sign that is in the 7th house, for example, if you have like a benefic planet, for example, in my case, 9th house is the Baba Castana. So I have a good planet. I have Jupiter exalted there. So Jupiter will not give me any trouble. Oh, because it is in the 9th house, will still give me trouble.
No, it will give little bit of trouble. But
Even if it's exalted.
Yeah,
Even if it's
yeah.
exalted.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
It will give
Okay.
some trouble from father figures, from mentors,
Yeah,
gurus.
he died early. No, my
Yeah, well,
father.
there you go then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
And, so
exactly.
yeah, there will be some higher learning will be a problem at some point, spiritual learning, because all of that will come into play, So yeah, there will be some blocks. So don't, but it's not going to be like a terrible block, Some Badhaks are really horrible, I mean, Isabel and Vibha's case, even though they sound very, you're happy, but that 3rd house is a problem, siblings are a problem. I mean, it is very difficult for anyone. If you are doing quite reasonably well, you're abroad, you're quite well off, like Isabel and Aditi are, not Aditi, sorry, Vibha are, fairly like, you're managing, even though they may have their own problems regarding their own children or whatever. But when you have siblings who are doing far worse, at least some of them, some of them may be in complete depression, some of them may be in a dire state, it's very difficult, because at some point you do feel some amount of guilt. So, so don't think that, oh, the Vibhas is exalted Badhak Lord, but then exalted also means like big Badhak, So you have to consider all of that. You have to study things very closely as what does it mean, what is it creating? How has it created problems? Yeah.
Donna, do you consider at the same time also the Badhak, the Lord of the 9th house? even if you have planet in the ninth house. Because you
Yeah,
said
you
if
will.
you don't
Yeah,
have
but first and foremost, if your planets in the Badhak Sthan, that will take precedence over the
I
Lord.
see.
Okay. Anyway, your mic, you need to sort your mic. Anyway, any other questions, Megha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. One question. No, sorry, ma'am. There are two questions. I wanted to ask is, as you've told, that if the Saturn or any planet is Swagrahi or it is in their own house, the Badhak is being pushed, that obstacles will be pushed to another planet which is there in that same house,
Yeah.
right, ma'am? You told that.
Yeah.
So is it taking that, like, if it is an Aries or a Capricorn or any of this Thira or Chara, if 11th house is there and the planet is like Saturn, like say there are two planets, maybe Mars and Ketu or Saturn and Rahu. So if they are Swagrahi in the Badhak place only, still they will push it to the other planet? Or it is just that we have to know that that same Badhak planet is in his or his own house?
No.
If I-
It's not nothing to do with in his own house. It has to do with Swagrahi or
Swagrahi,
Swakshetra or Mool Trikona. So for
Mool Trikona.
example, if you have, in the 11th house, if you're Aries and in the 11th house, you have, let's say, Rahu there. Okay. Now,
Yes.
Rahu is Swagrahi and Rahu is maybe with Saturn. But both are Swagrahi in the sense one is Mool Trikona, another one is Swakshetra. Okay.
Yes.
So the Badhak, yeah, sure. The Badhak will be there because they are malefics. But had it been a benefic, and then you would have had, like, for example, the case of, let's say, Gemini Lagna, and if you have Jupiter in Sagittarius in the 7th house, then it is a benefic, and it is in its Swakshetra. So, sorry, Mool Trikona. So it's not going to give that much of a problem because fundamental nature is of beneficence. It's a Sattva Guna planet. But here, if it is Rahu and, even if it is Swakshetra and in the Badhak Sthana, then somebody else will give you. The exaltation lords will give you troubles.
Okay. So, ma'am, if I say something about Libra, like Libra Lagna, so Badhak is Leo and Sun, correct? Leo
Libra
sign.
Lagna, Badhak is, the Badhak is, where is the sun?
Sun is in 11th house only, but with Mercury.
Okay.
Sun
So
is
the
in
sun
Leo
is
sign only.
debilitate. Sorry. Sun is in Leo in its own sign. So Mercury will give the problem.
But again, now if I ask that Mercury is a benefic planet, so will it neutralize something of the Badhak, or it is going to give whatever Badhak?
Yeah, I mean, by and large, Mercury
Little
is,
more.
it will kind of not neutralize, I would say. It will give little, niggling issues. They will not be that terrible. But let's say if you had Shani there, then it would have been bad. So that 11th house will still give you a problem because you have two grahas there, maybe the sun is, even though it's Swakshetra, it will say, Mercury, you do the dealings, you do the problem solving or the giving the problem. So Mercury will do it. And Mercury rules what? Mercury rules the 9th house. So the problems may come from the father or some kind of a teacher or father figure or a mentor, some that kind of a thing, some guru or something.
Okay. So, ma'am, again, if I ask like that, if any retrograde planets are there,
then it's,
then it will be little bad more.
yeah.
Okay.
Three
And
times.
as
3 times.
3 times.
Because
Oh.
retrograde is 3 times its power.
And it is Swakshetra still?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will then, Swakshetra means it will give the results of the opposite sign.
Opposite sign means, ma'am?
So if it is, let's say Jupiter is in Cancer, it's exalted. But if it is retrograde, then it will give the results as if Jupiter is debilitated.
Okay, okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, ma'am, one last question is,
Yeah.
as you've told, if Badhak is in 12th, it will neutralize a lot of things will be taken care. 6 and 8, yes, little less, but it might take care sometimes. So, if I have Badhak in 8th house, we can say that at least 25% of it is going to taken care, and 75%, yes, obstacle is still there.
Yes.
But what if, like, again, mine is Mars and Ketu. So Mars is in 8th house, but Ketu is in Lagna. So there is no neutralization. Ketu can be much powerful than Mars.
Uh, yeah, Ketu can be, yeah, but that is a war going on, huh? That Ketu and Mars in the 8th house. You're talking of the 8th house, right?
Yes, because when you told me that 11th house, the obstacle means obstacles in learning occult or anything which I've been facing it for a long time. I can say about this class also, there are a lot of obstacles which I'm not able to study or even see the videos. So we can say that Mars is my like 11th house. I am Capricorn. So Mars
Yeah.
and Ketu is an obstacle. So
Yes.
Mars is in 8th house and Ketu is Lagna. So every time I enroll for anything, some obstacles are there which I am in the middle. Either I have to leave it or I'm always lacking behind. I just cannot, go with the flow or
Yeah,
on time.
that is definitely obstacles then. That is definitely Badhak working. So you have to clear the Badhak, you
Okay,
know.
that no dasha is going on, no antar dasha is going on. Still, it does. Occult means that that particular thing they are not going to let me go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you do the exercise of Shani? I think the 8th house has a many crosses there.
My no 8th house. I don't have any other planet there.
No, but 8th house is, you didn't listen to the, is there a Graha Drishti from Shani or Rahu in the 8th house? Well, Rahu, it is there, but is it there from Shani as well?
No, I don't think so, ma'am. Maybe I haven't checked that yet.
Okay,
I've just put up my chart today
okay, I will
evening
have a
because
look.
I
We'll
haven't
have a
seen
look
that.
and we'll discuss it. I'll
Yeah,
ask.
because the way you've told that yes, occult has been hampered or somewhere that slow
Yeah.
learning or that obstacle, it is coming every time I have done something.
Yeah, absolutely. I will ask Akshat because that is quite a quite a tough one. Ketu with Mangal, uh Ketu with Mangal and Mangal with Rahu is
Hmm.
really difficult. I would
No,
say Ketu with Mangal is like a lot of fighting going on within yourself.
Ketu is in my Lagna, ma'am. Ketu is in my Lagna and Mangal is in 8th house.
So only Mangal is there in the 8th house.
Yes, it's in Leo sign.
Yeah, but
Ketu is in Lagna.
it's having an Abhimukha Drishti. So that is aspecting it. Mangal in Lagna. Megha, listen to the last exercise we did. See, Mangal has got Graha Drishti on your 8th house. Okay.
Mangal is in 8th house. That's what I'm trying to tell
Sorry.
you.
Okay. So Mangal is having Rashi Drishti on your Lagna, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so Ketu is in Capricorn, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ketu is also having a Rashi Drishti on Mangal in the 8th
Yes.
house, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is going to create a problem.
Okay. Okay.
It is. And plus, Megha, we
Yes,
missed
ma'am.
a very important point. Somebody wants to point out what that is. Come on, guys. We did this exercise. What else is having the drishti on that Mangal in the 8th for Megha? Come on. Anyone?
Rahu?
Yes. Rahu by Graha Drishti, second house. So there is a war going on. That her 8th house has got Graha and Rashi Drishti by Malefic. Rahu and Ketu. You see, that is a really tough situation. That is not an easy situation. So her hair goes completely crazy. Is everybody getting this?
Yes, yes,
And
it's
it,
clear. Yes.
and
No, I
anyways,
didn't.
Mars is hamped between Saturn and Rahu again. 7th house is Rahu and 9th house is Saturn. So Mars is Park Kartari Yoga, whatever we say.
Oh
I
my
don't remember that.
God.
So it's
Right.
hanged. So now I understand that my occult is not going ahead because of what or whatever the situations are. I was just trying to figure it out why I'm not able to attend, why things are coming as obstacles. Now, today, I think maybe this class I had to attend and I had to understand.
Yeah. But you see, the Ganesh mantra should help, and there will be other. We will have to solve that 7th house, 8th house, and where
9th
did you
house.
say Saturn was in?
9th house.
9th house. 7, 8, 9 malefics in a row. Whoa, it's a tough situation. And the 10th house is Surya, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Jupiter, Mercury, and Surya. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, rather than my advice is, Megha, as of now, do the mantras properly. I know you get up like quite early and, you're doing all of that. That is fine. But my also is you have a Jupiter. This is for all of you guys. Why the reason I'm giving you, why the drishti, the strength, one of Parashara and in Saravali, it is given all text you say, look at, they will always tell you the Jupiter and Mercury Rashi Drishti on a particular bhava is so auspicious. Why? Because Jupiter and Mercury, wherever it lands, it is called the Sarva Karya Siddhi. And that means that all the things will be successful. And that is a Bhagavad Gita yoga. It won't fall into your lap. Megha, so because you have a Jupiter Mercury conjunction, is that correct? With the Surya in the 10th house, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is a Bhagavad Gita yoga. What you need to do is actually sit down and get yourself a teacher of Bhagavad Gita. I can recommend you some. I myself go to Bhagavad Gita classes online with my teacher. But there are people who will teach, that is specifically for people who have an Rashi Drishti of Mercury and Jupiter, and especially a conjunction either in the Rashi chart or in the Navam's chart to solve your problems. That is what will take you out of it.
I've been doing this from last 1 year, which I'm myself also I'm studying, and yes, thrice a week I am studying from my guru also this Bhagavad Gita. And yes, after if you say after doing starting that, a lot of problems have been solved with the occult thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does come up also. So it's not completely gone. Maybe it will take a longer time for me to be in a regular practice of this, whatever you're suggesting me, ma'am, for Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita is your only answer. But of course, there are other mantras which we will do in depth, to tackle, because there are 4 malefics in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's forming probably a Graha Malika yoga as well.
Yes.
I'll have a look at the chart, but that is really, but don't know, it's not a big thing. But I would say that do not activate the Shani too much, because you see, I mean, I can understand that you have a keen interest on Vastu, but Vastu is you need really a very strong Shani for it.
Right.
You see, and Vastu is, it will activate Shani in a big way.
I was going to ask you that only because that is the only subject which has been working very good for me. So is it activating it, or is it my career is growing in that? I don't know. I am led back totally in astrology for whichever classes I have enrolled so many, like I have spent lakhs of rupees, but somehow I just cannot complete the classes. Something or the other comes up, and astrology classes are the only classes where I like behind. Vastu is the one, whichever class I enroll, whatever I go do, I go ahead. In fact, I am ahead with any students, or even after practicing also, I have grown good in Vastu. But somehow from last 2 years, astrology is the only thing which I'm keen to learn, and I'm somewhere I'm throwing
Yeah,
myself
but
back.
you need Jyotish for Vastu. You cannot do
Yes,
Vastu without
that's with the
Jyotish.
Jyotish.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to understand Jyotish on a very strong level. But yeah, I think that is your big problem there. You know, the eighth house. Also, you said the ninth lord is, yeah, the ninth lord has gone in the eighth house, right?
No, ninth lord is Mercury, no? It's gone in the
Oh
10th
yeah,
house.
sorry. I beg your pardon. So it's
Yes.
Mangal. That is, and Mangal is Agni. That is very strong Agni.
Hmm.
You know, but yeah, I think I don't think it is just about but the Rahu will give you good professional thing, and the Surya will also. But I still come back to the Bhagavad Gita, you know, that is your way out. But you will need the mantra for the Mars Drishti on Rahu. Even if you say that, okay, you know, I'll give up on Jyotish, that won't solve your problem,
It's
because
not
that,
solving my problem. I'm again
sorry,
and again, it is not really solving my problem.
yeah, what? Giving up.
Yeah, because I took 6 months break. Again, when your classes were enrolled, I thought, nee, let me give one more try. Again, I started attending the classes. Something happens, I cannot attend. Today, somehow, I am very obliged and thankful to you that you messaged me. So I thought, nee, I have to try again, no matter what the problems are, whatever it is coming up, I want to attend. So today I'm attending. But I'm very sure next Monday, I don't know what I'll be doing.
Next Monday we are is the Mahashivratri. We are not having anyway.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So
So
something like this is keep on happening and something happens at house that maybe I'm not able to attend. It is always an obstacle which I want to log in, but I cannot log in.
okay.
Something like that is happening.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Mega, is that no matter what happens, that your Rahu, because it is aspected Graha Drishti on that Mangal in the eighth house, and Ketu is also aspecting it by Rashi Drishti, it's a problem. Even if you give up everything, it doesn't mean give up Jyotish or learning and all that. It doesn't mean that the Badha will go away. It will still be, it will still remain.
It will give me problems in other ways, then other fields.
Exactly. So then you might as well, what's the word?
Try and
Yeah, might as well persevere and say, okay, maybe I may not be able to do, like, you know, but whatever I do, at least get some inputs of it and manage to get the Badha removed a little bit here and there, you know,
yes. Okay.
because there is a problem in that eighth house and you will have to solve it, you know, and there is no better way than knowledge, at least the Jyotish knowledge, because it is, end of the day, it is very spiritual and it is giving you solace. Now intellectually you may think like, oh, you know, I can study psychology and do it, but it just doesn't cut it the same way in my view. And believe you me, I have done Western psychological astrology, but it doesn't work like that. It didn't work for me, at least. So yeah.
I find my happiness when the day I study astrology, but that doesn't stay for longer time. Something or the other comes up, I close my book and I put it inside, and I cannot do it. So and now,
Yes,
yeah,
because of this reason, look at what is going on in your eighth house. Look how many things are having drishti on it. That's why. That is the fundamental issue going on. It's all blocked.
and eighth house is anyways in-laws house also.
Yeah,
So
true.
everything is figuring out now. Every points are like, it's joining. Every beat is joining now.
Yeah, true. Exactly. So, you know, tough. Anyway, okay,
Okay.
guys. So we are done for the day. So
Oh,
my now question is, you guys find the strength, because you do have to find the strength in your chart. Number one, and number two is that you have to figure out what is your Arud Lagna and where is the Badhak in that and how is it manifesting. I want you to think through things. So even if you make a few points, just jot them down, put it up, So at least at least you've given it a thought, because it is a thought that will start to get you to think in the right direction. Because once you figure out where the problems lie, then at least you can start to say, okay, then what is the solution? This is the problem. You've defined the problem. What is then the solution? That is the key, that really is the
Excuse me,
key.
Sona.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I didn't
Yeah.
understand. So the Badhak are from Veruda, you said?
Yeah. Badhak from your Lagna, Badhak from your Arud. Just
okay.
do 2.
Okay. All right.
And so now, can I ask you quickly something?
Yes. Yes.
So my Badhak is Saturn in the 7,
Yeah.
but over there he is in Digbal. Does it mean that the obstruction will be even bigger because of the Digbal?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it does mean that. That means every time professionally you want to expand, there will be something or the other that will create a block. So ideally, Lot would have promised, because Shani Digbal meaning, wow, the Varun Dev has blessed you. You've got the blessings of Varun. But because it is, you can expand professionally, it will be slow in coming, but you will slowly and surely expand. But because it is sitting in the Badhak Sthan, it is going to create some problems, some issues. It's Sagittarius, right? Lagna, Vanya?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
Yeah. So something to do with wealth, because the Lord of the second house is in the 7th, something in relationship. So you'll be torn in relationship or my work. What is more important? And then you'll say, okay, let me just be more flexible towards my relationship at the cost of some kind of a project or something like that. Or it may even be because, don't forget, Shani's Mool Trikona, which is your 3rd house, which is Aquarius. So you may land up in a fight with someone and then you'll just lose it, Have you been in any of those circumstances?
Before, because I'm on the Shani Dasha at the moment from 2009.
Yeah.
And I at some point I decided to I was studying a lot, and I wanted to improve in my work and everything, but then I realized that this caused me a lot of trouble, and I decided not to put so many efforts in this and just to change my perspective and everything. And yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. So there you go. So, but we'll come to the solutions as well. Okay. Don't panic.
Oh, no, I'm not panicking at all. I'm just, I wasn't wondering. That's all. I don't panic. Panic won't help me, there are things that you can do to help yourself, not to panic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you're strong. You've got a very strong chart anyway. So
now,
yeah.
may I ask a last
question,
please? To come back what you said, if the planet is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, so it will act like the opposite sign. So do we still consider it's I can speak. It's in own house in Swakshetra or not anymore?
No. It is in Swakshetra. You
Okay,
will consider it as Swakshetra. It's not that you are going to start changing the Saturn because it's retrograde, start changing it around, and no, none of that.
No.
When a planet is retrograde, it will just simply put, it's not going to change houses unless it's no, it won't change houses and all. But what it will do is it will just give results of the opposite sign. So it will give the results as if it is in the sign of Leo. Of the
but for the reason,
house.
Okay, but for the reasoning of the Badhaka blockages, we keep on with Venus. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
no, for if Saturn is in the third house
Yeah.
and is retrograde, so will it give the effect of Saturn in Aries for Leo Lagna? Will it become a Badhak?
No, you are it will just, no, it won't become a in the third house. Yes, it is a Badhak in the third. We did the Vibha's case, right? Vibha is our shining example of Aries Lagna with the Badhak, exalted Badhak in the third house, right?
But it becomes retrograde, so it will act as if it's in the ninth house.
Retrograde just means that it's coming from a past lifetime. It is very fierce. It will not let go unless that it will see through the Badhak. It will ensure, guarantee that it will give you problems there unless you fix them.
Okay, so we have to wait for the solutions.
Yeah.
So when a planet is combust, so in my seventh house, I've got Sun and Mercury, but that Mercury is combust in its own house. So does that mean that no matter how much you try, you're not going to be able to get over the Badhak?
No, absolutely not. I'm not saying you won't get over the Badhak. It just means that if it is, well, actually, if the Badhak is in combustion, then it's actually not too bad, because that just means that the Badhak gets kind of burnt up,
Okay,
You see that?
okay,
You
okay.
understand that? Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. So okay, so the effects are much lesser.
Yeah, it is kind of like, they're burning up. So it's not so bad, but if it is, if it is, but you will feel it unless you, through the Antardasha or whatever, but
Right,
it is
yeah.
not, but it is not permanent. Even if it is combustion or something like that, doesn't mean the Badhak is going to be forever. No, it just means that sometimes only during, it will function only during the Antardasha or the Dasha of it. So, and it's not like, oh, the whole, if it's, 20 years of Venus, then if the Venus is a Badhak lord, then all 20 years will be terrible. It's not like that. It is just that every now and then it will create problems and all that, it will just, you just have to figure out what the solution is so that
Right.
you can manage it,
Yeah, because for me, the learning has always been a problem. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's related to Mercury, but like someone else said, that every time I take up a course,
Yeah.
I am not able to complete it, or I'm not able to, go through with the whole thing. So I
Okay,
don't.
so then we have to look at your your fifth house as well as your ninth house. And I know you have a packed ninth house, Mars and
Yeah,
Ketu and Venus there, right?
right.
So there is never a problem of getting into a course, never a problem of like, you'll enroll into many and they'll keep coming. But the trouble is,
Completing them.
yeah, and g- grasping the knowledge that comes with it, so the Venus is the one who's going to give you the Badhak,
Okay.
you
Why?
know
Why Venus?
because both of them are, Ketu and Mars are both in Scorpio, right?
Yeah. It's in the same. It's its own
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they will farm off, they'll say, Venus, you do the work, Venus, you do the work. Or there will be a big fight between Mars and Ketu. Mars and Mars and Ketu. Mars and Ketu in Scorpio, they are going to be fighting. It's like Kartikeya and Ganesh.
Yeah.
You will have to figure out what is to do. But maybe we will do a session, week after you guys do all this, and then we'll get Akshat to come and talk about some of the solutions, because he is very good with some of the specific solutions to the Badhak Rashis, you know. So
Great
we will get
idea.
him to talk. So we'll do more of that, because this is a very, very important topic. As you can see that everybody is like, oh my God, you know, I can relate to that. And you will use this all the time in every Rashi. You know, there is no 12 houses, 12 Badhaks will be there. So it's just a
So now-
question of figuring out when and what time it is active.
Do you have time
Because
for a
when
last
I
question?
1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, go on, Sangeeta, finish.
so you know when I decide to leave a course, the knowledge comes to me from a different source. Then, you know, it's like if I'm on the course, I will not be able to study it. Once I leave it, decide to leave it, I get that same knowledge. I get it from somewhere else. So I don't know. Yeah, very strange.
Yeah.
Chasing never helps me.
Sorry, what doesn't help you?
When I'm chasing something, you know, when it's my desire to do
Yeah.
it, the moment I leave my desire, I get it.
But that's great though. You know
I
that.
know, I
That in
know.
itself is a positive thing, right?
It is, yeah. It in some ways it is, but it's very frustrating when no
But
one.
why are you looking at the 9th house? Your Badhak is your Pisces Lagna. Your Badhak is the 7th house.
Yeah, Sun and Mercury. And Mercury is my Atma Karak.
So Sun and Mercury is in the 7th house, yeah?
Yeah, yeah,
Ah, okay. Oh, and Mercury is your Atmakarika.
yeah.
Got it. There's many suns here in Virgo, huh?
Yeah.
Many suns. Vanya, Margarita, you, Isabel also, I think, sun in Virgo.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's like more than half the class. Anyway, okay, guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
So,
Margarita.
last
go on.
one. We explore all the positions. So if a Badhak is in Marakastana, what does it mean? Be for a Badhak to be in a Marakastana. For example, Virgo Lagna with Jupiter in the 3rd house in Marakastana.
Oh, you mean Badhak in
Yeah,
Marakasthana?
yeah.
Right.
Is it
Because my
positive or
son,
is
my
it-
son
is-
is also in Maraksan in 7th house. So yeah.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So is it good or is less bad because it's mean, or is worse?
No, it's not worse. It just means that at some point, you know, that Badhak will really be very troubling for the person. Because remember, Jupiter is in the dying position. Jupiter in the 3rd means it feels like, oh my God, where have I come? You know, I feel like dying
And-
here.
And is my son is in Jupiter Dasha? So the Dasha of the Maraka.
yeah, but
and
that
Badhak,
also
and Badhak.
reflects, yeah, but the Jupiter is also aspecting the 9th house. It reflects the father issues going on, you know. So you see that is where his problems are coming from,
All right. Okay.
because it's what Lagna is.
Virgo-
We will discuss this. Put up his chart, Margarita. We will discuss this, okay?
okay.
Because I need the chart
right.
in front of me,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. Thank you.
But think about it. Think about all of that. A good question, though. So think about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Quick one, very quick one. So if there's a planet there in the Badhak house, right?
Yeah.
We consider that, right? And then if there is no planet, so if there's a planet, we consider it, right?
Yeah.
So we don't consider the natural lords of that planet, that house. They seem to go away and not cause us problems.
No, we do consider if there is nothing in the house.
No,
That's
but
why
there
see
is.
the slide. You consider the 7th lord.
Yeah, but if there is something, right?
Yeah.
And you said not to consider anything
Well,
else.
it's
Just
not,
what's
it's
there.
not, yeah, okay. It's not mean that not to consider it. It just means that the focus is shifted. Now these planets will start behaving like Badhak. you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other planet may not need, it's like absolved of its responsibility of creating problems, because
So they'll
hey,
still
guess
cause
what?
problems.
Hey,
They'll still cause problems.
yeah, they will, but the main
Oh.
problems creators will be the one in the Badhak
That
sthana.
in the Badhak stan, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more problems now.
Well, yeah, it's not.
You know, I'm just saying, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. But
All right.
essentially, they will all distribute their problems. So if you have like 108 problems or 115 problems, then they will, which you are meant to be on your plate of creating obstructions, then
Yes.
they will all distribute it among themselves. So instead of distributing it to that many to entirely to the sun and Mercury, they will give a
Yeah.
small percentage to that other one,
Right.
and the Lord, and the main bulk will be kept by the people in the house that they are in, the Badhak sthana. So that is how it will work. But yeah, but that doesn't mean that problems are going to get multiplied. The problems, for all would always be that many. It's just a question of who is delivering it. That is what it
Right.
is.
I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, guys. So, any questions, Oksana? All okay?
No, thank you. Yes, I know my Badhak, it is in the 11th house, so it is Ketu for me, and Mars in the 10th in Virgo, so some legal issues, so which we can't handle still. So these are the Badhaks.
Yeah.
And gains and problems with father as the significant of the 9th house. So yes, I know that. But I do the Ganesh mantra, yeah? So I have been doing it for several months now.
Yeah. How does it feel?
It feels great, yes. I'm thinking if there is a special way to thank Ganesh or something, just unfortunately we don't have any temples here as such, but I don't know, donation or probably Akshat could also help with that.
Yeah, I think we will pose this question to Akshat. Don't forget,
Yes.
pose it to Akshat for sure.
Yes, of course, yes.
Because he will definitely know, because you're in Moscow, right?
Now we have moved to the south, yeah, so we are in a different city, but basically, yes, I am from Moscow.
What city is it?
Krasnodar.
Ah, wow, nice. Okay.
Yes, it's quite warm here.
Lovely, nice. So, fantastic. So, yeah.
Sonal, if I haven't been able to do the last two previous homework, so is it still okay to put up if it is late as well?